Hello people, I'm Madiha Seher from CodersArts, and this video will be discussing about strings in Java. Let's begin by understanding what is a string. Strings, which are widely used in Java programming, are a sequence of characters. In the Java programming language, strings are objects. Example of a string is any word such as Java, objects, hello world, and many more. A string is used to represent a word or a sentence. So basically, strings are nothing but collection of characters. Many characters put together make up a string. And in Java, strings are nothing but objects. So since Java is an object-oriented programming language, everything here would be treated in terms of objects. And any word here, we have a couple of words such as Java, objects, hello world, that becomes a string. And why do you make use of string? If you want to represent a word or a sentence, then you need to use a string. And that's how string comes into picture. Well, since we've understood what is a string, let's understand how to add this into your program by learning how to create a string. We have three approaches to create a string in Java, making use of a string class, by a string builder class, string buffer class. So these are the three approaches that Java provides for a user to create a string. Let's understand each approach. Using the string class. The most direct way of creating a string in Java is using the string class. Below are a few examples depicting the same. So this is one of the most easy and a direct way of creating a string. Here, the first my method here is string, name of the string, and hello. I think this is something that this is the pattern that the programmers follow to declare any type of variable. So in case if you want to declare an integer variable, you specify the data type, the name of the variable, and the value. So same way here, string, name of the string, and the value. So this, if you're using this, then you're making use of the string class. And then the next approach is you're creating an object of the string and passing the value, whatever value you want to be put into the string. So string2 becomes the name of the object. New is the keyword to create an object. Again, string becomes a class name. And in the constructor of this, this is a parameterized constructor where you're passing the parameter high, which becomes the value of this string2. Then I think the third approach is the very ancient one, which all of us must be very familiar with. Character array, which is nothing but again becomes a string. So we're declaring a character array, naming it as string3 and passing the value. So if you're making use of any of these approaches, then you're using the string class to create the strings. However, if you see, we have certain demerits of this string class. Let's understand what is it. The string class is immutable. The string class is immutable so that once it is created, a string object cannot be changed. So once you create an object of string, you cannot make any changes to it later in terms of its size. Suppose if you create a string and pass the value high, now if you want to make it high there, you cannot do so because the size of it was already fixed, and you cannot grow its size or rather shrink it. So that's the word immutable. So you cannot do any mutations to it. You cannot change it. That's the drawback of string class. However, it provides a couple of built-in methods to modify strings, which internally creates a new string, rather modifying the old one. So we do have some of the built-in methods that can help you modify the string. But what happens at the backend or in the internal memory is you're not modifying the string that you created. Rather, if you want to add, if there is a string, imagine if there is a string high, and if you want to add or append another word, let's say there, high there, and make that string as high there, you can do it with the help of this concatenation method that the string class provides. But what happens in the memory is you create a new string, copy high from the old string, delete the whole string, and then add there to the new string. So basically, you're creating a new string rather making modifications to the same old one. So because you cannot do modifications to the same old one as string class or string object is immutable, you create another string object and append those strings to another string object, which is performance-wise not very recommended because it takes too much of time. And we will see some of the other drawbacks in detail in the coming slides. So that's the problem with string. You cannot change it in terms of size. You may think that these methods can help you do it, but at the back end, a new string gets created. You're not making the modification to the same one. Rather, a new one gets created. So here we have some of the built-in methods for string. If you want to know the length of the string, you can make use of this length method. Concatenation, joining the two strings. I mean, one string gets appended or added to the other string. And char, it is something, if you want to know this character at a specific index, you can make use of this char. And following more, you have replace, split, equals, compare, substring, all these contributes to be some of the built-in methods that you can make use of without writing your own programs for it. You have the methods, you just need to access it. Okay, this brings us to the string builder approach, the second approach. Let's understand why string builder comes into picture. Since string is immutable in Java, as discussed earlier, when we do string manipulation like concatenation, substring, etc., what happens is, see, it generates a new string and discards the older string for garbage collection. So new string is generated and the older one is shoved into the garbage collection. These are heavy operations and generate a lot of garbage and heap. So if you have to do concatenation for about 10 times, then you keep pushing or you keep deleting the strings that you created. Let's say hi was created and then you added hi there, then hi got deleted and you have hi there. Now, if you again want to add new things, then hi there will get deleted and new string will get added. So that's how things would move. So Java has provided string buffer and string builder classes that should be used for string manipulation. So in order to avoid those heavy garbage collection operations, we can make use of string buffer and string builder. Why? Because string buffer and string builder are mutable objects in Java. So using string buffer class and string builder class, you can create mutable string objects in Java. You can expand them in size. You can shrink them in size. It is unlike string class. They provide append, insert, delete, and substring methods for string manipulation. So below is a method on how to create a string builder object. Making with the very common approach, you're just creating an object of string builder, and then you're passing the value hello world, which becomes the value of SB1. Okay, this is the method. So string buffer. If you're concerned, okay, now we have string buffer here. We understood why string builder comes into picture, because string builder is a mutable object. Then we also have the third approach also had string buffer. So if string builder is already a mutable object, then why do we need string buffer? Let's answer this by going through this slide. If your concern is thread safety, then you must look for string buffer. A string buffer is used to create mutable strings in a thread-safe environment. So that's the major difference. Using string, you can create immutable objects. For mutable ones, you need to depend on either string builder or string buffer. Now, if you want to create mutable strings in a thread-safe environment, then you need to depend on string buffer, because string builder would create strings and that would not be in a thread safe environment. So if you're looking for thread safety, then you need to look for string buffer. That's the difference. String buffer was introduced in Java 1.0, whereas string builder class was introduced in Java 1.5 after looking at shortcomings of string buffer. If you are in a single threaded environment or don't care about thread safety, you should use string builder. Otherwise, use string buffer for thread safe operations. So if your concern is thread safety, go for string buffer. If your concern is nothing related to thread safety, then you can make use of string builder. So thread safety is for string buffer, without the thread safety works with string builder. This brings us to the conclusion. Let's just summarize. String is immutable, whereas string buffer and string builder are mutable classes. String buffer is thread safe and synchronized, whereas string builder is not. That's why string builder is faster than string buffer. If you have a comparison in terms of performance, string builder is faster than string buffer because string buffer works in a thread safe environment. String concatenation operation internally uses string buffer or string builder class. For string manipulation in a non-multi-threaded environment, we should use string builder, else use string buffer. I think this helps you get a detailed summary of what is a string, how to create string, ways to create string, and how each way or method is different than the other. It depends on what is your need. So if your need, according to the need, you can select the approach. This brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching the video. If you found the video informative and interesting, you can watch more of our videos in the CodersArts channel. To watch more of our videos, you can subscribe, like, and share to our channel. Thanks for watching the video. Bye.